Number 10, write the standard form of the equation for a hyperbola for which the transverse axis is vertical and 4 units long, and the equation of the asymptotes are y equals plus or minus 3x. Now, the first thing we need to remember is what transverse axis means, and that's kind of like the major axis. This is referring to 2a. So 2a is vertical and it's 4 units long. Why does that matter? This will help us find out what a is and later plug into our equation. I'm also going to underline here vertical. Now, when I go to my formula chart, I'm going to look for a hyperbola, and I want the vertical. This is horizontal because a is positive. This is vertical because a is with y, and y is positive. So I'm going to take this equation. So over here, my equation I'm working with is y minus k quantity squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1. That's my formula I'm working with. What I've learned also is that, and I'm going to come back over here, when it says asymptotes, the m is going to be rise over run, which in this case, the rise is the letter A, and it'll be divided by the run, which is the letter B. Now, this value is just 3. What that means is 3 over 1. So we have the value 3 over 1. Now, someone could be thinking, how can the value be 3 over 1 whenever we have an a of 2 here? Well, let's just set it up. Here's how we solve this. We know that a is in reality 2. What we don't know is what the b value is. And so I'm just going to put an x there. We're going to solve this real quick by doing cross multiplying, dividing, or butterfly method. So when you multiply this way, we get 3x equals, this way gives us, when we multiply, 2. I divide by 3, and I find out that we get 2/3. This is actually referring to b, so I probably should have put a b there, but that would be 2/3. So when we come down here, we know our a is 2 squared, b is 2/3 squared, like that. As for the b, would be the y-intercept. There is no b, so in this problem, b equals 0. When we say y equals mx plus b. So b equals 0, or the center here, it's going to hit on the y-axis. So we know it's going to hit the y-axis, and not only that, if these are the asymptotes, they're cutting right through the origin. It's not up or down, it's just on the origin. So that means these values are 0, 0. The center has to be 0, 0 because these lines intersect at the origin. What am I trying to say? Let me explain it this way. That when we have this graph, the asymptotes, the equations are positive 3x and negative 3x. That's going to be my asymptotes. This one's the negative 3x. This one's the positive 3x. What do you notice about the center of the graph? It's at 0, 0. So for that reason, we can come back over here and say that, oh, this needs to actually just be y squared. And over here, this needs to be x squared. Just like this. So now, it says write this in standard form. We would just simplify. My actual answer here is going to be y squared over 4 minus, when we simplify this, 2/3 squared, you'd square the top, which would be, let me just put it like this so it's easier to see. It would be 4/9, which is the same thing as 9x over 4. When you divide by a fraction, it's like flipping it, equals 1. So this is strange. You haven't seen it like that. I could write it that way. I wouldn't be too panicked if you actually wrote it like this, put it over 4/9. That's just not as proper math. So we would actually, and you set it equal to 1. You could write it that way, but the best way to actually write it would be to multiply that. And so we'd have 9x squared over 4 this way equals 1. This would be my equation here. So because this is such a weird looking answer, I will up here write the way you would normally see the answer. You'd normally see it as y squared over 4 minus x squared over, we said that was 4/9 equals 1. That would be like that. you could try to, if you wanted to, you can multiply everything by 9 just to get rid of that fraction right there. If we multiplied all this by 9, we'd have y squared over 36. But the problem with that is it would change our transverse axis. So you could do it that way. You'd end up with a 9 over here, and it still wouldn't be standard form. So it's just kind of a tricky problem. It's a bad number here.